Hello and welcome on a beautiful sunny March afternoon to PyeongChang in Korea for the very last race of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh World Cup season. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven, getting ready in the sunshine for the first of two runs of the four-man bobsleigh to round out this year's competition at the Olympic track. And John Morgan alongside me. What a facility this is, what a race it's going to produce.
We've learned a lot here this weekend. We learned that this is a very tough, frightening, frustrating, thrilling, daring from second to fifth in the second run. There's Stephen Holcomb.
Holcomb lies third in points. He has an outside chance of the four-man title. Oskars Kiebermanis is the man who will start the field. Perhaps a day when that start draw might be even more important. And Yun Jung-won of Korea right behind him. Then Marcus Treichel, Piers Meyerhans and Cody Basque before we get to Holcomb. Sixth place draw, good for him. Franchesco Friedrich, 10th spot. Rico Peter second in the points. Alexander Kasjanov, our points leader, go off 11th and 13th. And behind them, we have 26 sleds from a dozen nations competing in the final pre-Olympic event. Two trips down the ice for 20 of our sleds. For 6 of them, just one as we cut our field for the final heat of the season. It's race 8 of the BMW IBSF four-man bobsleigh World Cup. Trackside in PyeongChang, Korea, the 2018 Olympic venue. Martin Haven and John Morgan as Oskars Kiebermanis of Latvia looks to see if he can win his second four-man race of his career.
Martin, I think he won his first bronze medal in a race, Koenigsegg, right?
He won in Samaritz in the four-man as well. He's got a two-man and a four-man medal this season, and Oskars Kiebermanis establishes a track record. This is the first official four-man run down, so his start record and his bottom record will last maybe even for a whole 2 minutes.
You know, last year we really thought we'd see a lot more of him on the podium. He'd never had a podium finish till this year, and he is really emerging now as the athlete we thought he was when we first saw him as an 18-year-old on tour. Look at the pictures. So get used to that. I mean, there's so much action, including right there where he crashed in training earlier in the week in 13-14. The sled comes out of 14 and it's, you know, unbelievable pressure. Track record 50.07. That's going to go below 50 before we're done. And Sanders Prusis and his longtime brakeman Janis Skrakens, they look at the clocks like they don't know what to expect.
Well, we don't know what to expect. Temperatures utterly different from anything in training. I was talking to René Spies, the German coach here, and I said, what about today? He said, this is really good news, because if we get weather like this in the games without having seen it before, then everybody's up in the air.
Well, this is one of the better starting teams in the competition. Look at the athleticism, and watch how it narrows here. Look how quickly it narrows. This is going to cause them to get in earlier, and they're out of the start grooves quicker, so everybody's going to have to alter the way they get in and out of these sleds. And down here in this straightaway, bend away, curve 10 and 11, look at the pictures. We aren't going to see as much bob jumping as we saw in the two-man. The two-man's a little bit lighter.
They've also shaved the ice a little there to reduce the jump. Well, Oskars Kiebermanis looked fairly happy with that. He's got the track record, but for how long? Next up is Korea's hero, Yun Jung-won. Well, he only drove one trip in public in the four-man. What has he learned while he's been training in secret?
Well, they're going to have to match the Latvian start of 07 or 492, and they don't. 497. The speed should be the second best speed yet. Now watch him get out of 2. Watch that line. That's as quiet as anybody. Kiebermanis struggled a little bit there. He's 400s down, but he's been down the track twice as much as Kiebermanis. I would expect him to be a leader at the bottom.
What we'll see with this four-man race is a lot of sleds sliding off the corner. The rear is going to be really difficult to control on all these turns.
Not a lot of pressure, the athletes say.
Even the Korean,
he's got problems.
Yeah,
129
back. Top speed at the bottom from Kiebermanis. That's exactly the same as Kiebermanis, by the way. He was a little faster early on. 135.3, that's speed. Quicker.
Could be close, right to the 100.
In fact, that is
exactly he's really the low speed. There. Whoa! He lost. Boy, that was different. He lost a little bit of time there. Boy, it looked like he really steered hard in that finish curve.
That's where he lost the two-man yesterday as well.
Strange. He's 10 behind Kiebermanis. I think the Koreans were hoping he'd be ahead of Kiebermanis. Keeper Mattis is a top 5 sled, I would say, in today's race.
Yeah, could well be. That early start draw could favor both of these teams.
Could also work against them with the teams coming late where the temperature gets a little cooler. But now they know the start area. They know you have to get in and down. Now watch the way the sled comes out. Oh, there's a little drift.
Only the guy at 4 actually got in clean.
And how are these pictures? No bob jumping like yesterday, but still pretty compelling.
Yeah, there's a lot more weight to try and lift off the ground and not an awful lot more speed with which to do it. Third of our 26 sleds, Austria's Markus Treichel. He didn't make the second heat in yesterday's 2-man competition.
In a rented sled, you can see the Korean on the side. There's about 9 or 10 sleds all through the weekend that were the Koreans rented it out to people, which good sportsmanship on their part. You really can't drive your sleds over here from Europe, Martin.
No, you can't. It takes a long while going all the way through Soviet Central Asia.
Good start. Ooh, but then as soon as I said that, they had a little, they're 2200s back. And let's see how these 4-mans get out of here. Nobody's got near the wall yet. The 4-man might be easier to drive through curve 2 than that little sports car 2-man that we saw yesterday, which was very entertaining.
More weight may be giving them more control. Although watching training during the week, you wouldn't necessarily say control was high on the list. There's an awful lot of slapping of the wall going on down here.
Pretty tough to get through that 9 to 12 combination. 13, 14, this is where, oh, you see there's some air.
Yeah.
We're gonna see that. That's a very dangerous part of the track, especially in the second run, when the track will cool down and the speeds will get faster. 7100s back. Manfred Mayer on the right. The Austrians not so well in the 2-man yesterday. Their #1 gun, Benny, Manfred's son, did not make the cut in the second run, but he wasn't the only top sled that didn't make the cut.
Yep.
Rico Peter, for one, from Switzerland.
That was brutal, wasn't it? Yeah,
that was
really
some
was.
bloodletting there.
Well, catching pile there at the front, drove in the women's race.
Okay, let's see the climb into curve 2, up near the lip, and he comes down the right side. Remember, we saw the Korean Won come down the middle, and then here in 12, I think we're just going to see a lot of activity all day. Now watch this. This is the 13-14 combination, the skid out of 14.
You get a little jump again over a rise there. The sled gets very light, breaking into a skid very easy. Switzerland's Billy Meyerhands up next with the A team. Christoph Kellenberger, Roman Fusi, and Justin Danso. And Billy has quite the rental fleet of sleds. You'll see a number of athletes driving his sleds over the course of this season.
He's quite a fundraiser marketing guy, self-promoter.
Yeah, also has a push track at his farm.
I think he's in love with the sport, really.
Yeah, no kidding. It's not love, it's addiction.
Yeah.
Love's too poor a word for it. Slender slips in, and that's not a bad little load. 5:31, not as quick as our front runners, but they get in with a minimum of fuss.
And he gets really close to the wall with a little bit of a skid, and he's already a half second back.
I saw him in the start area earlier on. I said last 2 of the season, he said last 1. He knows his chances of making a field in this track are perhaps reduced. But then the early start draw.
There's a bump, the little jump, 129.7.
6700s back. He's 4th place at the moment, but he'll be vying with Markus Treichel of Austria for a place in the race. And the exit here, long skid. Oh, and that tap.
Uphill section, really.
Yeah.
That's really.
And it's not a gentle uphill grade, but he gets in front of Treichel.
They like it.
Yeah, nicht so schlecht. Wolfgang Stanford there in the left. Not so bad at all.
Good drive.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? He might have to go again, Billy.
He got beat by 1700s by Treichel at the start, but he got turned that around at 1000s on Treichel at the bottom. But
there he is, Be My Hands.
Yeah, he knows what to let the crew take care of the sled. This wasn't a bad line, you know, compared to the first 3 sleds we've seen down. But he gets on the right side. You get on the right side, then you're going to jump into the curve. If they show us those pictures. This is down 13, 14. 13.
Again, you see that little jump there, don't you?
Yeah, and then this is the bottom part of the track before he gets into the uphill section.
So there's Billy, arch enthusiast, bobsled addict. Cody Basque of the USA using one of the Bodine night trains. And John, Cody had a really strong run in yesterday's two-man race, and that's got to give him great confidence with this crew.
Yeah, he had a very, in fact, he beat Holcomb yesterday.
Adrian Adams, late addition on the back of the sled.
Brett Fote, Chris Fote's brother. Chris Fote slid on this sled here that won a bronze medal at the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi with Stephen Holcomb. Ooh, watch out. Feather.
600s off the start. That's not bad. 498.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Ooh, that's really late, though. Now he's impossible to get to the bottom of the top.
Well, let's see what it does, because this is the first time we've seen somebody in competition hit the wall out of two. He was 600s. Yeah, 2400s.
Yeah, he hit the ball hard.
Yeah. Okay, third place on the split times. Oh, skiddy. And he does hit the wall early.
He doesn't have any kind of speed that the other sleds have.
79.5, he's a mile an hour down. Now, what can he get out of 13?
He's just skidding every place.
Top speed is 135.3, 134.1 for Cody Basque.
Third, 5200s back.
Still in third place, though.
That's pretty rough. That hit at a curve 2, that was worth 30 hundredths. You give him 30 more hundredths there, and look at that. He's up in, he's challenging 1. Good start, though. Great start for the guys. But, you know, look how high he gets. You probably won't see anybody else hit that hard in curve 2 in a 4-man. How are these pictures? Wow.
Long skid. You can see
there's some air.
See right at the front of the shot, all those striations where they've shaved the top of the brow.
Yeah.
Thomas Schwab in the silver jacket there on the left, the track controller, making sure that there's not too much of a jump. Oskars Kieberman is our leader early in this first heat. A lot of noise at this Olympic venue. That's nothing compared to the pressure cooker atmosphere that there's going to be next year for the Winter Games. But Stephen Holcomb, been there, done that. That's only going to serve as inspiration for Holky, surely.
Basque's team just posted a great start. Holcomb gets that type of start, he could challenge here at the bottom.
Yeah, sub 5 is what he needs. Sub 5 is what he gets. 496.
This start might favor Holcomb's team. That was pretty good. Can he get through here?
Oh! No.
He was 0 for 2 yesterday in the 2-man. Really affected his speed down below. And he couldn't get through there again here, so he's 0 for 3.
Just tagged it a little. At least it wasn't that full side-on shot. He's only 700ths of a second off the lead. And we've seen what he can do late in a run with this BMW sled.
Side. Ooh, that's a hard hit. 128 speed, though, is the best.
Slips behind one of career at the moment. He's third on the split times. 135.
He's got less speed than even his teammate Basque.
And at the line, only 1600s back, and we saw more than that change hands for victory in yesterday's two-man race.
That 1600's all related to start the curve 2.
Yeah.
That was everything. He'll be the first one to tell you. So this frustration that this track generates, we got to give this section of the track frustration lane something, because the amount of people that shake their heads over pictures like this. And remember how high Basque got, and then Holcomb went low and still skidding here. Now want to see some bob jumping with a 1,300-pound vehicle? And that's way better than yesterday.
Yep.
Yesterday you could see how much they shaved. That's a great pickup, Mark.
Yeah. Well, not a bad looking run, nevertheless. A couple of things to sort out for Holcomb. Maxim Anjanov is the first of the Russians in our field. Start draw number 7 of 26. And at the moment, hard to tell what way the track is going. There's so many driving errors in all of these heats that it's really a little difficult to try and work out what we know about the track itself. I think all the drivers and all the coaches are in the same boat. They're all still trying to piece it together.
Well, they should be low 5s, if not in the 4s.
Nice looking load,
Nice.
496, really smooth load.
This is a great start for him.
And think of how the, tags 2, and that knocks the back into a skid into 3 and 4. So he has to steer hard to sort it all out through the big sweeping left at 5.
Yeah, it definitely shows me that these 4-mans are getting down the track a lot easier than the 2-mans.
Well, it's all that momentum, isn't it? They've got that energy that helps them brush off some of these little slips. That's not bad.
No, that's really good. No
1800s
speed,
back, 4th place behind Holcomb. Don't forget, Holcomb 1600s behind at the end of the run. He's clinging on to the leading group. Very steep uphill section, these final couple of corners, really unbelievably high.
2500s back.
All right.
Sukov looks on. I don't know what he knows, what he thinks about that, but they had a good start. Some really good starts up there in the top 4 sleds, top 5, including Baskin.
Our 2-man field was really jammed together. Will the 4-man be the same?
Okay, well, what line? He goes high early and then dives out, and boy, that back end skidding. This wasn't too bad though. And he's over in the jumping zone. He doesn't really get a jump.
It's not the takeoff that hurts you, it's when you land and it gouges into the ice with the runners. That's what takes the energy out of the sled. Oskar Kibermanis is our race leader from Yeonjungwon of Korea. Next up is Oskars Melbardis. Now with Damas Jeskins behind him again in the 4-man with Arvis Vilkaster. He started yesterday with Janis Strenger again on the back of the 2-man. Melbardis and Jeskins still not 100% fit after joining the campaign after Christmas, after that back surgery.
I was told yesterday by Sanders Preussens, the coach, that with the bad back that Melbardis has, he's really been hurting this big track record at the start with the bad back. See if he can get out of curve 2 here. Yes, but they got a special seat built up to support his back more just for this event.
The combination of the bumps on the track and the beds
bumps
in the hotel.
No, it's
not helping
curve
either.
12.
Yeah.
They were,
well, that's,
it's pretty tender down there. And ooh, that was a big late transition.
And the coach is saying it's not the takeoff and the landing, it's actually when they hit the wall there. That's what does the damage. 300s up still. And speed at the bottom, he was not quite as quick as his teammate Kibermanis. Speed at the bottom, Kibermanis 135.3. He's nearly a kilometre an hour down. He'll be about 700-800s behind at the line. He is 50-15.
Sanders, look at that, he takes that, but Melbardis didn't have a very good 2-man competition yesterday, didn't finish anywhere near the medals. Look at him shake his head. The lane of frustration, that's what this is right here. Half the people that get out of the sleds, if not more, skeleton or bobsled, shake their heads.
Yep.
That's what this track does to you.
Finish area of frustration.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. But answers on a postcard. We've got to work on a better one for that. We've got 11 months.
Okay, now this doesn't look too bad.
Yep.
Great start, and he's struggling to get off that wall, but when he hits the wall, he goes airborne. And look at the pressure of 1,300 plus pounds with that quick left. And there's down 13-14, which is also an airborne section on the track. A little looping on 14, and then he comes out like a corkscrew. Look at the sled. Ooh, twisting.
Yeah, bringing the nose down, but the weight is still going to the outside. Austria's Benny Meyer disappointed in yesterday's 2-man race. He's got a much better shot probably here in the 4-man. Start draw number 9, very beneficial. Marcus Sammer on the crew who was with him in the 2-man. Joined by Kilian Walch and Danut Moldovan. Well, this is really where Benny Meyer needs to try and find some pace. 495, that's a decent start from the Austrian team.
Great start. Second best velocity too, with a very quiet exit. Much like the Korean Won, he came down the middle of 2 in the exit, and he's got himself into a dead heat. Now, he would love a little redemption here, because I don't know, between him and Rico Peter, who was more disappointed than the results than yesterday. Those two, some of our top pilots didn't make the cut, and that's great.
That's a really good looking run. He's only 900s behind. It's showing him to be 4th place on the splits, but a good run through 13, which he gets without too much of a skid. Speed needs to be not good. Not the 135 he needed.
Like as he did all week long.
Quarter of a second further back. Yeah, there you go. Goes from 1500s out to 3400s out.
3rd best start. Speed. 3rd best speed, 4th best speed, 5th best speed. Billy Meyerhans has the best speed on the bottom part of the track. Figure that out with the worst start.
Well, that's why Billy gets to rent a lot of sleds out. He's got some very quick kit.
Now this is down 13, 14. Watch him loop, go up high. Look at the speed difference. 410. Now watch it come out. Does he come out smooth? Yeah, that's a pretty good quiet exit right there.
Still more questions than answers here. Franchesco Friedrich, our 2-man World Cup champion, also a contender. He leads the combined title race, which is all the 2-man and 4-man results. He needs 10th or better in this race to take his 2nd Crystal Globe. And if really freaky stuff happens, then he might even take the 4-man title too.
He's way out of that. You could have 3 guys crash. Ties the start record. Or no, he doesn't. He comes off 100, and he doesn't get through 2. But he didn't get through a lot of curves yesterday, and he ended up running away with the victory. He's won the 2-man World Championship. He's won the 4-man World Championship. He's won the 2-man World Cup title, and he could win the 4-man World Cup title if he doesn't.
He did that in the 2-man as well. Hung it out worse. Really late on 7, and hit everything in sight on 9. This time he's paid for it.
Speed is getting a ticket. 129.8.
Faster than anybody at that point. Down at the bottom.
But he's losing time.
Top speed is 135.3, 134.9. Not far away. He'll be within maybe 1200s. 16 back.
Lost a lot of time on the bottom part of that track.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was relative to up there in 7, where he was up in the woodwork. But, you know, again, that was a rough ride. But yesterday he had 2 rough rides and ran away from the field. Tied
with Stephen Holcomb, 1600s covering the top 5 sleds. Yesterday's 2-man, 1600s covered the top 2.
That is on the woodwork. You'd be the judge.
Yeah. Well, if the wood didn't stick out so far, he would have been up on the woodwork and probably over.
And here's 13, 14. He's late here.
Yeah.
And he comes out of 14. Like, look at the air comes up. He almost tipped it back. Oh, look at the sled catch.
Whoa.
Wow.
Back of the sled came right up.
The sled still look a corkscrew right there. That was some hellacious ride.
Late pressure.
Here's our standings.
10 down, 16 to go. Latvia 1-2 ahead of Yeonjung Won of Korea, and a wild ride puts Franchesco Friedrich tied for 4th with Stephen Holcomb. Rico Peter lying 2nd in the points. If he wins, he becomes the 4-man champion no matter what. If Kasjanov wins, he becomes the 4-man champion no matter what. The 2 of them are 14 places apart. 1st to 2nd is a 15-point gap. Now, chances are neither of them are going to win here. So there will be more maths to do.
More of a challenge for you, Martin.
Oh, don't. My mental arithmetic is not worth the paper it's written down on. 492.
Let's see if he gets through 2. I hope he does, because he had such a bad day yesterday. Yes, nice quiet, and he had some great speed, velocity by his team, and he's got green numbers. So he won the event in Lake Placid. It seemed to me like he peaked before Christmas.
Yep.
He's had just, he's up there in the wood too. Just had bad result after bad result since he came back to Europe.
15th in the 4-man Worlds, but then he got a silver medal in Eagles' last World Cup race. So will he end up with another medal here? At the moment, down to 3rd place on the splits, but don't forget top 5 covered by 1600s.
That was a big hit out of 15, going uphill.
Good speed, 135.9, very good speed, and brings it back to 2nd, just 800s behind.
So how about not making the cut yesterday, Rico? What did you drink and eat overnight? Because that was some performance. Yesterday, it was like he was a rookie pilot. So the other thing, too, is, Martin, keep our eyes on the sun going down. Somebody keeps track of the temperatures going down.
About 6 o'clock. It's only 4 now. Don't forget, it was only getting dark in our 2nd races yesterday and Friday.
Look at those pictures, how high he gets at 7. crosses over. And now here, down in the graveyard of time, for good reason. Look at the hit there. And that's the highest jump we've seen yet. And this is down in 14, 15.
Wow,
look
didn't
at
the
that.
tail break away.
Tail breakaway, and uphill section. Still pretty good, Rico.
The eyes of Nico Walter from Germany. Nico Walter in a really tight battle in the four-man World Cup with teammate Johannes Lochner. They are, I beg your pardon, Franchesco Friedrich. They are 4 points apart. So whichever finishes in front of the other will be the top German four-man driver.
Well,
Friedrich 5th, Walter 6th, Johannes Lochner in 7th.
Well, they missed a race. Oh, that's definitely going to cost them.
Just snagged the wall there.
6th best start, 9th best velocity. That's related to that mishap. I don't know what happened there, but Walter did not have control of the sled coming out of the start grooves. And now he's going to have to hustle to get himself in the top 5.
1100s back. This is 8th place out of 12 sleds.
Pretty good.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Ooh, big speed. Best speed we've seen. Nobody's had 130 numbers. And he just had. And he's only 900s back considering the start mishap. And the start time, second best speed.
Very good speed.
Nico Walter, a little bit of a skid there in the uphill.
How close will he be? Within a couple of hundreds. Oh, 300ths of a second away.
Well, if they clean up that start, he'd have been the leader easy.
Yeah.
This is some good confidence for Nico Walter. He's had an up and down year, mostly down. Snuck into a world championship medal and needed that in Königssee. And hard not to root for this guy.
Yeah. Really good run from Nico Walter. This
Okay, watch him come out of the start grooves here. Look at this.
Yeah.
He doesn't have control yet. Oh, and the last guy in goes left to right. Oh, the push bar, I think, hit the woodwork.
Well, luckily the sled bales didn't.
And this is 13-14. The back end's high there. He goes up high, down low, back up high. Now watch this skid. Look at that, the back end skidding there. That's relative to where you get in, and then he's still got action going on here.
Yep.
So that mistake all the way here in the uphill section, that was 150 meters earlier on 13-14.
Yeah, cost him at least the 300s. He's off the lead, but he's in the mix. What about Alexander Kasjanov, our World Cup points leader, a contender possibly for the overall as well as the four-man title? But the Russian needs a better day than he had yesterday, John.
He's in some two-man. It's like he's just decided, I can't do much here, and he just uses it as a warm-up for four-man.
Well, his last two four-man races, he was 9th in the World Championships, 9th in Eagles.
Well, relative to the start, he needs to get in the 90s.
Yeah, 492 ties the leader.
Somebody must have said something to him about a start, because that's a great start. And there's no reason with his ability that he can't get to the bottom with one of the top 3 times. 100.5, that's great speed to look at coming out of the blocks. 100.
Yep.
Now,
slender lead.
It looked like he was a little late, 7 and 8. How about here?
That's
nice.
Good. That's very good.
129.8.
130.1 is the fastest, but he's right in the frame.
200s. Now, if he gets that 135 speed here, 136, nobody's matched that yet. This is going to be the leader.
Fastest and a new
49.
track record.
There's something for the Russians to smile about, Zubkov.
They might end the season with a smile. He began with a smile, victory in Whistler. He then took silver in Altenburg, the 3rd race behind Germany's Johannes Lochner, and since then, it's been bottom of the top 10.
Koreans seeing their first four-man bobsled race of their career. And the start, these guys had a great start. Now watch how controlled they are. Watch the sled come out of the grooves. He's got his total control of the sled. You see a little bit of his moving the runners. And then here, this might be the best so far. Look at the minute steering. And he was clean through there.
You see how soft the track is though, still lots of ice shards coming up from even the tiniest movement of the runners. Alexander Kasjanov has just taken the lead for Russia. Maxim Anjanov is in 9th place. Midway through the first of our 2 heats. What about Alexei Stulnev, start draw number 14? We're now into the second half of the field of 26, and only the fast 20 go through. Billy Meyerhand's Marcus Treichel, 12th and 13th at the bottom of the pile at the moment.
Oh, that's not good.
That's the first hit on the wall we've seen.
And that's just running too far. That's just a mistake. Oh, then another mistake there. That's 2 hits.
As they're loading.
And this is a good pilot. He won his first World Cup medal in 4-man bobsledding in Koenigsee earlier in the season, and his first ever medal. But let's see what he can do with all this mishaps in the first 50 meters.
Only 12th in the World Championships in 4-man, 5th last time out in the World Cup in Innsbruck in Austria. 3200s back. This is 11th place at the moment. Might squeak in front of Benny Meyer into the top 10, but right now, not looking like it. 11th fastest speed and a skid uphill. And that might see him out of the 10. Yes, it is, behind Cody Bascu in 12th place, 61 hundredths away.
Well, that 494 start might as well bet a 510. Not only do they erase the really good work they did, they ran too far.
Yeah.
This is a short, narrow start area where you've got to get in, get down quicker. And I think this is, if there's anything they're going to learn about this start track here, is the technique is going to be less steps, in, get down, and settled. Kasjanov had probably some of the best technique of anybody. Now look at the sled. And that's the back end. The guy's still running and getting in the sled, but it's out of the grooves.
Running it way too far.
This didn't help. This is not as bad as Cody Bascu, but that's second.
Getting on for it. Looks like he's almost put a dent in the side of the sled there.
He'll be lucky to qualify.
Johannes Lochner of Germany, the third of the German 4-man crews. Matches Joshua Bloom, who was with him in the 2-man, on the podium yesterday. And Christian Rasp on the back handles. Rasp still with that big scar on the shoulder from burns when they crashed earlier in the season. Really nasty looking burn injury he had. These guys, surprising podium yesterday, John, from 8th place after the first heat.
Yeah, great second heat. Johannes Lochner. They should get in, get down. Let's see if they're perfect.
Yeah.
And the 491 is one of the best. Now the exit of 2, perfect. Now let's see if this guy who won 5 out of 7 races over a 3-week period in the middle of the season, and everybody was like, wow, what happened to the rest of this field?
3 4-man World Cup victories, tied with Franchesco Friedrich for the 4-man World Championships. The first time that's ever happened in history.
Whoa, that's some tic-tac-toe there.
Yeah, tied for the lead.
That sled flew sideways into that 12th curve.
Now, how far behind is he going to be in this?
Wait, 2 kilometers down.
Only 8th fastest.
Yeah, he's still going to be top 5.
Throwing it around all over the place.
6, wow. But look, it's 1,800 separates the top 6
tied
sleds.
with 1 of Korea. Right behind him, Friedrich and Holcomb are tied 2,400 out. So our top 9 sleds covered by 2,400s.
And with all the action all over the track, curve 2, curve 12, 13, 14, the uphill section, anything can happen.
Yeah. Well, he came from 8th to 3rd in the first heat, in the 2-man race, rather.
This is one of the best drivers in the world. How's he doing? He's in a little bit of a panic. Now watch the sled fly here. They're going to give us this rear view shot, too. Now watch it fly, and it's angling. Look at it. Oh, that's the wrong direction to go into that curve.
And look at the ice. That is breaking.
Look at him laugh.
Yeah, Grimace is a bit...
Yeah, a little bit more frustration down there.
Kasjanov, Kiebermanis, Walter, the top 3 here midway through Heat 1, the final 4-man race of the year. Justin Cripps of Canada with Alex Kopax, Jesse Lumsden and Ben Coquell, 16th of 26 starters. PyeongChang, Korea, Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the action with you in this last race of the season.
Should be a good start. Should be mid-90s at least. 4 huge men. Alex Kopak on the left. They added him a couple weeks ago. This team was good, and it got better with his addition. 496, sort of expected the start velocity. Only the 8th best velocity, but skid out of curve 2. And Let's see what the International Man of Mystery can do with this large sport utility. Oh, way up high on 6. No one's had that line all week.
600ths of a second off the lead. What will it be at the next clock?
That's excellent right there.
800ths. This is a really good run.
That's great speed. Let's see if he can hold it down here at 13. Ooh, taps. 1000ths back. This is top 5. He gets 135. Yes.
Again a skid. Only 7th fastest speed though. We've had 137 at the bottom. Fourth at the line though. He was
Canadians will take that
all the way
Look at
down.
that with the 9th best start.
Yeah. Brought that all the way back from 9th to 4th on the run.
Yeah, this team came together late. Kopak they added. They didn't see Alex Kopak until January.
Yep.
And they moved him in, replaced Josh Kirkpatrick, who's coming up in the next Canadian sled. And this team was really good, and they added Kopak, and now they're one of the best. And watch these lines. Crossover. I think it was here he got laid. This is 8-9, but he got so high up in curve 7. I've seen nobody up there in the frost. These lines were perfect, but up there in curve 7 was a line we never saw from anybody.
So Calgary Stampede sled tied for 4th, a 3-way tie for 4th, 1600ths off the lead. And here is our next Canadian sled, Chris Springer in 4th place after the first heat in the 2-man. Tantalizingly close to the medals, but then too many errors. It all slipped away. Can he turn his fortunes of this season around in the very final race?
This should be another 90s start. Canadians, very proficient. Little drift, push bars. In 493, excellent. Load though, 8th best velocity, skids out of 2, not too bad. Springer almost challenged for a medal yesterday. 101.4 is excellent speed up here at the top of the track.
That may be the fastest we've seen, 63 miles an hour. I think it is. He's in the frame as well.
Ooh,
wow.
Bang there, hard bang, sound. 21.29 is not the best. He's starting to lose time back. Ooh, a little back end skid. Now he's up and down. See if he comes out like a corkscrew a little bit there. Oh, that corkscrew on the exit of 14 caused him to climb the wall in 15, and that's not fast. 12, 38th back.
Yeah, that's a tough run for Spring.
But he's not far. He's only, well, he's 2/10 out of 7th. But that bottom part of the track, things come at you pretty quick. This is, we call it a slow track. It's not that slow. They're going 85 miles an hour. Look at this Springer. Athletes are loving this atmosphere.
And the crowd are too as well. Their first ever bobsled race in the flesh.
Oh, that's that tap. That's that loud noise we heard before.
And look at the way
the exit of 8 to 9. Yeah,
nearly rolled in 9
but he
on
came
it.
here pretty good. This was good. Look how high he gets down here in the curve 15. That's this is the replay of it. Look at it. No one. It's up there in the frost. Believe me, the frost. That's not as nice as down there in the better ice conditions of the flat. Hit out of 8. You did have a hit out of 8.
No kidding, Sherlock. Lamindine of Great Britain with Mark Lewis Francis behind him, Ben Simons and Andy Matthews. Lamindine did not go in the 2-man yesterday. Bruce Tasker and Brad Hall were the drivers. They are combined in Brad's 4-man sled later in the run.
Well, these guys are so good, I'm worried about them running too far. See if they get down and get settled. There's a lot of variance there as they came out. Great start, 97.
Yep.
But that's the 13th best start.
Yeah,
wow.
but only 500ths off the leader. They're so tight together.
Listen, the athleticism at the start track in 4-man bobsledding compared to 4 years ago was awesome, and now it's improved. The athletes coming into the sport, wow. Everybody's got the good starts, but not everybody has got the good drive down, especially on this track. This is pretty good lines,
nice looking line now. The British 2-man sleds lost speed from 13 on down yesterday. 14th place on the split times around Benny Meyer and Cody Baskew.
See if he hits it.
Yeah, another hit on the way up the hill. That's not going to help. And at the line, 16th out of 18 sleds. And there might be a bit of drama about making the cut for Lamindine of Great Britain. Only 2 sleds behind him. Billy Meyerhans 100th behind. And that might be the 100th that gives Lamindine a second heat. Marcus Treichel 18th at the moment at the tail of the field.
A little late, but you know, who knows how to come off that curve. You've only seen 1 or 2 sleds come in there clean, and there's a little airborne with that 1,300 pounds, changing direction to the left, 4 or 5 Gs. Just another day at the bobsled office.
From France, Loïc Kosteg with Dorian Hauteville, Yanis Puyard and Jérémy Bouterin the sled. Now he's definitely got top 10 potential in this 4-man. Bruno Mijon behind. Olympic bronze medalist in 4-man in Nagano. Max Robert on the right of your picture in the blue jacket. Wonder if Max has to shave the beard off before he gets home. He's been growing it subtly all season long.
Well, Loïc has surprised us with some really good downtimes, and training was doing pretty good. Start, one of the worst. Pretty good velocity though as they entered the sled, and beautiful exit of 2. And we know he can drive, and of course he had no chance to train, injured most of the summer. Can't train, can't get strength to run, push, and adhere to the demands of starting a 4-man bobsled or a 2-man.
And listen to what you can hear. Nothing so far. That's the first touch on the wall. 2600's back. He's gone from 17th at the start up to 14th on the splits.
It's pretty good. He's going to get into top 10 probably. Going to have great speed too. 11th best speed.
Yeah. Decent exit, and again avoids the wall coming up the
low
hill.
there though.
Could
low.
be in the top 12.
42.
13th. He's just tied for 13th with Benny Meyer. 400s out of the top 12.
Well, your 17th best start, you finished 13th. The driver's done his job.
Yes, he has. On the D-rings, if not on the push bar.
Put him in the second heat.
Yeah. Marcus Treichel at the bottom of the pile. We feared that he might be in trouble, and he is at the moment tail end Charlie.
This is 13. This is where you get wound up. Look at the way the sled almost comes airborne, and then he climbs high, comes down low. Now watch the exit. Does this come out clean, or is it corkscrewed? Man, it looks like a corkscrew as he gets down there into 15.
Yeah, that tail end slide everybody gets. It's how violent it is that makes the difference to your speed. 19 sleds down, 20th of our 26 starters is Canada's Nick Polagnato. He's had a really good few weeks, 5th place in the 2-man World Championships in Koenigsegg, Bavaria, just before we came here.
Best Canadian yesterday, 4th, came out of nowhere to beat both of his teammates in the second run. I think he surprised himself. Good breakout season for Polagnato. He started it right off, winning one of the Canadian trial events in October, put him on the team, and here he is. Good start, 17th best start, take that back.
Well, it's a disappointing 4-man World Championships for him after finishing 5th in the 2-man.
High there, looks like his teammate. 12th.
Yeah, this is a very good run.
He's moving.
17th at the start, up to 12th place. The split times
only
now
1300s back.
13th spot on the splits.
Whoa! There's what happens on 13, 14. Mike, that's what happens. It did to Keeper Madison training. It'll show you that. I mean, we've been talking about the corkscrew effect on the exit of 15.
Will he get to the blue line?
He did. He did. He's by the Omega clock.
That's the finish line.
Finished. Now
so they have finished.
There's nobody's going to catch him. Oh, they should stay in the sled. This is how you get hurt.
That's how you dislocate your shoulder.
But they're finished. Now remember, he crashed twice in Lake Placid. First heat, came through the finish line, went back up, they went again. It'll be interesting to see how they
they won't make the cut, unfortunately, because although they finished, they will get points as a finisher, but they won't make the cut.
You're right. In Placid, there was only 18 sleds. Lascelles Brown.
Yeah, King was trying to use all of his enormous strength to hold on to the sled.
Now, I can't believe there's nobody here. Here's somebody.
Well, a bunch of track workers from Whistler here.
Lascelles, I'm surprised you got out of that sled. The veteran, the most veteran brakeman in the field. He's 43 years old. Does he look 43?
Yeah, if you
Take a look at that.
If you reverse the figures and call him 34, you go, is he really? Well, they're all up and out. There's Polo.
Polonolo was only 1400s down.
Yeah.
He would have been a top 6 or 7 there. The King.
It's a long walk up that hill and a very steep too.
Still, I hope this does not discourage Nick Polonado. He has had
It
some
won't.
great year. Now watch the sled roll.
Watch the body weight go to the outside.
Side.
And then as he rolls, as he turns
Look at
into
that,
the
look at
corner,
that.
it's already gone.
Strange pictures.
Yeah. And that's why all these sleds are coming off there with a skid, because all the weight is going to the outside of the corner.
We've seen sleds worse than that.
I'll tell
So
you what,
I'd like to see that again, because I don't understand that.
you could see that King was half out of the sled there from the crash, and he'd taken a couple of good licks on the helmet.
Everybody up.
Yep, medical crews are with him.
Dan Sunderland, saw him up. Derek
Yep.
Plug. There's Lascelles. Still haven't seen Nick. And there's Nick sitting on the wall there
Yep.
on the right.
Yep, so they're out. He's
There's Dan on
just
the left.
frustrated.
Now what's happens here? He goes to the left too far. He hits, it pushes him away. He pushes him away, and then the sled just doesn't catch the take on.
Yeah.
You know, he must have came through there 20 feet late, and that pushed him away from the take on. And again, Keeper Mattis did it. A couple German pilots told their coach they almost tipped over there with air, and they didn't know what they did wrong.
A couple of the forerunners have as well. And, you know, the Korean drivers know this track well.
Well, this track, just when we thought everything was going smooth, and they were just having issues getting down the track with good time.
That's bobsleigh
It's
racing for
this-
you.
And the guy who just crashed finished 4th yesterday in the Tume. So the persona of the Alpensia track continues to develop. There's Nick Polonado. Nick, great season no matter what, buddy. There's Dan Sunderland. There's Derek Plug on the right.
That's the low point of the track. That's where everything comes to halt. Dr. Byrne there in a
Gene
US
Byrne.
jacket. He's
Lake
just
Placid guy.
overseeing for the IBSF all the medical services
Concussion
here.
protocol, that's what he'll go through. The crowd looking on. Now we'll see how much damage there is to the track. Now this is, anybody coming up now is loving this delay. The temperature is changing. Every degree, probably every 5-10 minutes. It'll probably change 10 degrees difference between now and the second run. We're going to be under the cover of darkness in the second run. Especially with this hold. Second run's supposed to start at 5, right? Second run start at 5 o'clock.
5 p.m. Even if it's 5:15, it still won't be getting dark till
It'll
6.
be colder than it was when we started at
It won't
3:30.
be as hot as it was at lunchtime.
And
though.
then it's going to be 20-1 in the second run.
Yeah.
There's the grooves. That's not in. You see the drive lines?
Yeah.
That's not a bothersome groove. They won't worry about that. They're looking for where up on the curve itself, if there's any kind of nicks.
Yeah.
You can see both grooves across the bottom. They're not worried about that. Now this groove here, you can see is in the rudder lines.
Yeah, but there don't seem to be any chunks of ice missing. The track crew have walked up and back down there, so they
Should
have had
probably
a
see an
good look.
IBSF official walking through there pretty quickly to inspect the track.
See what a beautiful sunny day it still is outside as you look
There's
down.
what they're concerned about.
Well, what
That's
you
in
don't
14.
want is your runners to drop into that and start tramlining and taking control
And you can
away
see,
from you.
but that the high runner and low runner will be above that. See that
Yeah.
high and low? There shouldn't be any. I don't know.
Well,
There
the
might be.
only reason one of your runners will be in that groove is because you're way too high or way too low, and you're in trouble anyway then. Flags of many nations, and of course lots and lots of the red, white and blue of Korea. Crowd are being nicely wound up by the track announcers here. Lots of entertainment, lots of informative videos as well. I mean, they've been sitting there. The big screen system has been showing videos that explain the rules, how the sleds are built, what they're made from. There's the head of the track workers there shaving a little bit of the ice away from the Whistler track, bringing expertise in as they are. And the guy there in the black on the left-hand side of your picture waving around, he's waving around a hose, and that's got a fine mist of water. And the idea is that you get the water into the groove and get it to freeze up quickly. That's what's called spritzing. Of course, the ice refrigeration is still on hard. So Rob and the other guys from Whistler and from Canada Olympic Park as well. There's also track workers here from La Plaine, our French colleagues, helping to build the track, maintain the track, and also, of course, educate all the Korean track workers who are working with them. And this is all part of not just getting ready for the games, but getting ready for the ongoing life of this track, for legacy, because they definitely will be looking to keep this track alive. For a sliding nation, having your own ice house, having your own track is a really important part of the equation. And their ice house, essentially it's an indoor start ramp which is frozen, and it will have exactly the same profile as the start ramp here, so you don't need to freeze the whole track, you just keep the ice house frozen during the summer.
Well, you can see the crowd is being entertained. One of our couple of our Canadian girls in there. Yeah, these are all the 3 Canadian girls.
Getting down and banging the gong. So the crowd are learning bobsleigh, the bobsledders are learning how to play Korean drums.
That's Genevieve on the left, right?
I think it was Genevieve Thibault. I'm surprised Riss isn't down there. Alicia Rissling, yesterday's bronze medalist.
That's her
There she is. Is that not her in the pink? I think it is. Down there.
On the left.
Enjoying,
Yeah, that's in the left.
In the pink top. Yeah, hey Riss, busted. So she'll be Instagramming the living daylights out of that. And one of the great things for social media here is that there's astonishing connectivity everywhere on the track. So anywhere you walk, you can take a picture and send it out to the rest of the world immediately. Which makes life very entertaining. So track hold, and at the moment we're waiting for Justin Olsen and the team to be given the green light. You can see limbering up in the background, trying to keep themselves warm. They spend a lot of time. Nick Polonyato, Derek Plug there, and Dan Sutherland still working hard.
That's Rob Zinnerhelt down there doing the track work. He's from the Whistler track, and you got Richie Christensen. He's probably up in the curve. He's from the Calgary track, and then you got a French crew from La Plagne that's taking care of the track. And of course, they're teaching the Koreans. But you'll be seeing some international people in here, ice meisters like Rob Zinnerhelt right there, sort of teaching them, taking care of it. They've seen it all. Close, they've both been through Olympics. Here comes the hose.
You're not going to fill that groove. It'll still be very evident, but they're just trying to get a little spritz on, make sure. Most important thing is to make sure no chunks of ice have dropped out, which then lead to more deterioration of the track.
Our Canadian friends are still
banging the gong, getting it on.
I don't think anybody's leaving either, but we haven't had any word.
No, we're waiting for final track inspection. They really want to get that sled off the dock there at the low point, because if somebody else has an issue, there's not really room for 2 sleds and 2 crews to be manoeuvred. So it might well be that they're going to have to wait for a sled truck to get there to pick it up. See, our officials are now giving the Koreans the hurry up.
Attention, attention. You have 2 minutes.
Richard, the technician in the background there, he's the man responsible for maintaining these sleds all season long. Comes from IndyCar racing, worked for many years for Penske Racing, for Dragon Racing as well in IndyCars.
Richard Labenstein.
Yeah. The answer's yes. Now what's the question? That's a great attitude for any mechanic to have, and Richard has definitely got that. They call him, well, the technical term is bobsled mechanic, but engineer is much closer to where we're going with that. So Justin Olsen in the US sled with Austin Landis, Evan Weinstock you saw bouncing up and down in the background, trying to keep himself limber.
Yeah, those guys did pretty good yesterday. They broke the start record,
Yeah.
but then was rebroken by Franchesco Friedrich and Torsten Margus right afterwards.
You asked him afterwards in the post-race interview, was it always your intention to go and retake the start record? And Torsten, yeah, absolutely.
Jumped in quickly to say, this is our track.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yes, it was.
But, you know, it's Torsten Margus is a 7,800-point decathlete, and the guy we're looking at right there from the United States, you know, he's a 7,700-point athlete, Evan Weinstock himself. Yeah. He did that at the 2014 Texas, some kind of one of the track meets in Texas. Didn't do so well in the Olympic trials.
Great view of the night train, and of course the history of that matte black livery is that when Stephen Holcomb tested it out for the first time, before it was quite ready, he said, great, okay, we'll take it, we'll race it. No, we've got to take it back and paint it. No, we're taking it now in primer. It's too good to waste in a paint booth for another week.
Yeah, that sled, of course, is Justin Olsen was on that sled when it won the Olympic gold medal in Vancouver in 2010, and he waited a couple years before he started driving, and now he's been on quite a learning curve, and yesterday he finished 6th in the competition, had the second best starts in both.
Of course, one of the reasons he waited after Vancouver was the 2011 Worlds were where?
12 at Lake Placid.
Lake Placid, New York, exactly. 2012. Yes. So Olsen and the crew, long old track hold.
See how that affects them. This is 4 good athletes. They should be mid-90s. Let's see if they get in, get down, and get settled without a squid.
Oh! Well, that really slowed them down. That would have been a 487 otherwise.
Let's see if he can get out of here. Yeah, he gets out of there. Now, Olsen had some issues in a two-man in the bottom part of the track, but this is a rookie driver. So, rookie driver driving an 8-year-old sled, and he's had a pretty good season. 4th in a two-man event in Innsbruck, his best finish. 4-man, top 10, to be anything like that would be good. And oh, there's some airborne.
Talked to him after the two-man race. He said, what do you think? He said, fantastic. I'll take that rookie driver anytime. He was just happy with the runs.
He's only 1,800s back. This is pretty good.
Good-looking run. He's gone out to 12th place.
15th best speed. That's what you get. 15th time in the bottom.
And he
right
is,
ahead of his teammate.
Ahead of Cody Basque. So again, he's going to walk away from this and go, yeah, fantastic. Happy to be here, happy to have spent 3 weeks learning the Olympic track and take whatever comes. And that's exactly the right attitude. Don't put pressure on yourself early. Everybody has to learn, and he's happy to do so.
Climb here at 6-7. Look at that change of direction there.
Early height.
That was into 9. That was a lot of steering. When you steer that much, that might be the biggest height. Double bounce, because when he hit that high. Great start, Justin.
Yeah.
And team.
Big start record for Justin Olsen and the crew. So now we are back on track. There's Gatis Goots, who's responsible for running the operations here for the World Cup. Jan Verber for the Czech Republic didn't make the cut yesterday in the two-man. Teammate Dominik Dvorak did, but Dvorak not going in today's 4-man race. I think we are just about to see a situation where Dvorak may well overhaul. Oh dear, Verber even in the 4-man next season.
Well, Jan Verber, I think he'll go out fighting. Much better 4-man than he is 2-man because he gives up a lot of time at the start, but he's a little bit like Lucas Matty of Poland.
Yeah.
Good driver. Lloyd Kostej.
Yeah, same as Lloyd Kostej. Good hands, but not great speed at the start, and it's always a fight from there. He was 18th at the start, slipped to 8th and 19th, now up to 17th on the splits, ahead of Alexei Stulnev.
3,600s down, it's pretty good speed. He's holding it. Oh,
long
man,
skid.
there's some steering there. 14th best speed. This is
so around and about 17th, 18th at the line. 16th,
puts him in the
just ahead of Cody Basque.
Basque.
And that puts out Polonyato and his crew and Marcus Treichel. and leaves Billy Meyerhans, who had the top speed at the bottom of the track, on the bubble.
Well, check these lines out. Tried to quietly steer his way down this suspect straightaway, and then he gets a little air. Pretty good line though. And this is 13-14, the danger zone, where that crossover is dangerous. Oh,
yep.
Corkscrew effect on the bottom and skidding and uphill, steep uphill right there.
So Jan Verber, likely as not, is in the race. On the bubble in 20th is Billy Meyerhans of Switzerland. Can the Aussies knock him out? Here's the Stig. Lucas Matter, Chris Kozowski, Lachlan Reedy and David Murray are the crew. So first
couple of these
World Cup
guys,
race.
first ever World Cup. Driving a Korean sled. These guys have had a pretty good year on the North America Tour.
Remember, Stig, don't be gentle, it's a rental. 5:21 getaway.
Can he get out of two? Really low. He got really, if you go low though, that means you're steering. Steering is friction. Friction is not your asset in the sport.
Question is how much steering versus how much of a hit. Where's that balance in two?
Oh, really dove out at 6-7 there. This is 9.
Not too bad.
Not too
22nd
bad
at the start, 22nd at the moment.
Watch out here, watch out.
Whoop.
Oh, no problem. I thought when he hit there, the crossover.
Long skid. And coming to the line will be in 22nd spot. So he doesn't make the second heat. And I fear that that is pretty much what they might have expected after training. But the Aussies, again, really vital to come here, do that learning. Next time anybody drives a bobsled in a competition on this track, it will be the Winter Olympic Games. That little gesture with the thumb and the finger, that's the Korean body language for love. Feeling lots of love from the crowd here. The officials really proud of their facility, proud of their track, and rightly so.
Boy, those lines made me nervous down here. Look at those, boy, look at the airborne there. Whoa,
I think they made him nervous as well.
Yeah, that just caught. You could see the sled go airborne.
Yeah. Safely down and done, and that is their season completed, unless there's a little bit of post-season in Whistler or Calgary. I gather there's a few going off to La Plana as well. Brad Hall's off to La Plana
There's
after
some
this.
people going up to Lillehammer. The Latvians are going up to Lillehammer to test equipment.
Simona Battazzo of Italy, last-minute withdrawal from the two-man race yesterday. Simone Fontana, Rocco Caruso, and former skeleton athlete Giovanni Mulisano, the man on the back handles.
Well, give Simone any kind of a start. It's probably going to be 5-5, 5-10. 5-12. Give him any kind of start, he'll produce. He'll be like Billy Meyerhans down here. He'll have good speed, good time. And I bet you he could get himself into the top 20 here. He's going to need to have the great lines.
Only one sled in the top 20 started.
Really high there up in the wood, but we saw the German sleds do that. And that's a hard jump.
Yeah, bumpy. 22nd.
If you get to the right side of the screen.
Oh, dear.
You get to the right side of the screen, his left, you're going to see some air jump there. And that's a real high part of 15. And he's not going to make the cut.
No. Wild ride for Simone Battazzo, 22nd at the line with a 51.09. And that was not on, I'm afraid, right from the start.
Oh, that's Baumgartner.
Oh, Baumgartner. So Battazzo, although he was, beg your pardon, that is Patrick Baumgartner. So
Battazzo did not go.
Even though he was up in the start area, he has not gone again.
Wow, that was on the wood. That person That sled was altered off hitting the wood there. That's the first one we really know definitively that was on the wood. And style points, they got as probably a good air as anybody. Wow.
Well, he fails to make the cut. Billy Meyerhans has one more sled before he gets to go again, and that sled is Brad Hall of Great Britain, with Bruce Tasker behind him, who drove a two-man sled yesterday, then Sam Blanchett and Greg Cackett. Gregory, to call him. Sam, Exeter Chiefs and England Rugby Sevens player.
Good athletes here on a team that was doing top 5 or 6 in the World Championships in Königssee when they crashed. Second run.
Yep. It's only a third World Cup race of the season for Brad Hall in the four-man. Gets in
Watch
nice
out, boy,
and
they
quickly.
ran far. They ran too far. That's why the sled altered.
Well, he had
Great
control
start.
of the D-rings, 491.
But still,
third fastest.
But still, that running too far like that, I think that's going to be some strategy that people are going to adapt to for next year's Olympics.
Well, what you notice from some of the best starting crews is they're happy to hold themselves up and get in slowly and gently as opposed to fast.
Well, they get in and they alter that sled.
Wow, still tied for the lead. Little wiggle down from 9 to 12, 300ths away.
This is excellent.
Are you kidding me? The 25th sled on the track.
He's only 800ths back. 13th best speed.
Speed at the bottom, not great. That was that rub from 13. Where's he going to be in the top
8?
10? Ninth place, the last sled down.
They're happy.
Yeah,
They're surprised.
No kidding.
Well, good start. Now listen, the World Championships, when he crashed, they would have been top 5, top 6 on that run when they were running at Königssee. And nobody was more disappointed than Brad Hall. He's had a tough year.
Well, the speed at the bottom is a worry, but
they're happy. Look at, he got his wing. He's got his wingman there, Bruce Tasker.
Yeah.
That's what the British need here. They've had a disappointing year with great athletes.
Yeah.
Look what's going on underneath the sled, though.
Yeah, that's
some kind of tape.
Well, that's the little rubber bits that.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be showing like that. Look at, I was worried about him coming through 13, 14.
Yeah, I think he might have been as well.
Go corkscrew on the exit like everybody, and then holds it down in 15. Tap on the exit going uphill. Not bad.
Hey, Brad, not
nice
bad
job,
at all.
Man.
Really good stuff from Brad Hall. 9th place, finally bumps out Billy Meyerhans and his teammate Lamin Dean in 20th
by
place.
100th.
100th of a second faster than Meyerhans. Said at the time that might save him, and it did. But our race leader is Alexander Kasjanov. Won the first World Cup four-man of the season. Is he going to win the last to bookend what has been a pretty terminally awful season for him? He's still our World Cup points leader. A win guarantees the Crystal Globe, but will he get it?
Well, we got to talk about that jinx too.
Look how tight this is as well, down to the tie for 7th.
3 people tied.
1800ths of a second.
3 teams tied is 16. I haven't seen that in a while.
Top 8 covered by 1800s. It is anybody's race.
3 teams tied for 4.
Friedrich and Holcomb tied for 10th, so we've got a tie for 7th, a tie for 10th, and a 3-way tie for 4th, a tie for 14th. This is exactly, in fact, it's even closer than our two-man race. Lamin Dean, by 100th ahead of Piers Meyerhans, will be in the heat. And behind them, Marcus Treichel, Patrick Baumgartner, Stig, and Nick Polignata, who crashed, do not make it. Simona Battazzo did not start. 1 heat to go, 20 more sleds to round out the BMW IBSF World Cup season. Join us for the four-man finale in just 30 minutes, 20 minutes from now. We'll be back with the last runs of the year.